And now, you're listening to BodeVision the Podcast edition. We're talking life. Sometimes we're talking cars. Most times, we're just talking that all of the time. Welcome to BodeVision.
Alrighty, you guys, what is up and welcome. So we are at another podcast. This is actually episode number 4. And today, I have with me one of my favorite YouTubers. He is a multiple Pro-Am winner. And also, he has a cat named Sandy. Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Ray.
It's funny, the multiple Pro-Am winner sounds cooler than it is, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
You can have it, bro. And then also, so today, the main goal for this podcast, well, first of all, thank you for being on here. What I really want to do is I just want to kick back, hang out. Everybody's going to know you for your car stuff, for the drifting stuff. I kind of want to get a little deeper, so to say, in the life of Taylor Ray. Man, this is rhyming like crazy. So first of all, let's just get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name's Taylor, obviously. So I've been into cars ever since I was a kid. Obviously, you know, I started when I was probably 6. I started getting into cars. My dad always had cars. He told me about cars and all the different cars he'd had. So I kind of grew a fascination from a young age. My granddad had a bunch of cars that he restored. And then, you know, I started getting into them when I was younger. And then I got into BMX and it kind of pulled me away from cars. And then I got my license and then kind of fell right back into it. And then I just kind of happened into drifting. A friend of mine drifted. I got a car kind of like his that just I happened to be able to trade my other car for, which was a really rare thing. Like, it just worked out perfect. And I got this Porsche 944, the limited slip, so it was going to work for drifting.
I saw that one. Was that the blue one that you had? Yeah, I saw that on some of your older videos.
Yeah, so that car is really why I started drifting. I had no intention of drifting when I got it, and then it had a limited slip, so it's like, you got to try drifting.
Yeah,
and
of
course. You know, here we are, like, basically 10 years later.
Yeah, man, that's crazy how you started at a young age getting into cars, and then you just come right back to it. Like, it's like it meant to be, and
you can't get away from it. You just can't.
It's pretty crazy. And then, as far as you said, your father and your granddad were into it as well.
Yeah, my granddad had like a restoration business. My dad worked on cars and stuff. He was, you know, he had like Trans Ams and Camaros and stuff. And then, you know, he also flew, so that was like his big thing was flying, which I never got into that. I wish I would have, but you know, cars kind of like drew me in, and I was like, I don't need planes. Cars are cool.
Right. That's really cool, man, because my father, he's into, my father and my grandfather, they're into woodworking. Okay. My dad just does it as a hobby, but I believe I get a lot of my craftsmanship, so to say, from that side of the family. Yeah. They didn't really mess with cars, but they still were in the garage. They were in their workshops. They were working with their hands. They were building stuff, creating stuff, and dude, my dad's a perfectionist when it comes to making stuff, and that's where I believe I get a lot of my skills and my passion for what I'm doing. It's just I'm doing a different thing.
A different thing, but you're still trying to create something.
Exactly, and that's what I love doing. So now let's move on a little bit from the cars and stuff like that. I want to talk about your jobs. Right now, you're a YouTuber full-time.
Yes. Yeah, I started doing YouTube full-time like, about a year ago? So I could have done it full-time probably starting 2.5-3 years ago, but there's like 2 main reasons why I didn't. One, I really liked working at BC a lot. It was a really good company, and if it weren't for BC, I wouldn't have ever even got into YouTube, because BC allowed me a bunch of cool opportunities, allowed me to meet a bunch of cool people. It allowed me to meet Adam. Meeting Adam, working at BC is what like pretty much led me into YouTube. You know, I was helping him get into drifting. He was like, hey, I want to help you get into YouTube. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And then starting my channel, having BC as a job and doing cool stuff allowed me content when I wouldn't necessarily have content otherwise.
Yeah.
So anyway, I felt like I owed a lot to BC. They were a really good company to work for.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to leave, you know, and plus, you know, it's kind of the fear of like jumping off the cliff, you know, YouTube full time, not having a day job to rely on. You know, when I was working at BC, worst case scenario, I just go back to full time, you know, if YouTube tanks. And right when I was going to do YouTube full time, or when I did do YouTube full time, is when my views were like the worst they had been pretty much since I started the channel. Wow. And monthly income was like as low as it had ever been since like it grew. You know, obviously in the very beginning it was lower.
Yeah, of course.
But like, you know, grew, and then was just like, phew. And so, I mean, it was kind of scary, but it worked out. And I mean, it's working. You know, obviously it's not, you know, it's not as glamorous or as crazy as people think. I'm not rich at all, but I can afford to do things that I want to do. I can work on cars, and I mean, that's really all I could ask for. If I could be guaranteed how much money I make now, which isn't a ton or isn't even really that much, but like I can pay my bills and work on my cars at a leisurely pace, like I'd be good.
Right, and I think there's a big difference between rich and wealthy. You may not be extremely wealthy, but in my opinion, to be able to wake up every single day, do whatever you want. You text me yesterday, hey man, you want to come? Can I come pick up those parts? Yep, you can come pick up those parts. Both of us, in my opinion, are the luckiest people, or some of the luckiest people on earth, because we make our schedule. Yep. We do as we please. We work when we want. Not to say that we don't work hard, and not to say that we didn't build ourselves up to this place that we're at right now. Me with the shop, and then eventually transitioning into doing YouTube videos more, and then you doing everything that you have done thus far to afford yourself the ability to just do what you want. That is rich, in my opinion.
But there is a flip side to it. Yeah. And the flip side is like, when you work a normal job, you have, okay, I have to work 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. When you're off work, you're off work.
I know exactly
like you
where
are gone, you're done. Like, that's it. And you can go do what you want. Like, I don't have, and sure, you don't either. We don't really have days off. You might be not working, but you're thinking about.
Clock out.
No, you're always thinking about it. Like, what, for me, it's what am I going to film tomorrow? Like, did I order all the parts I need for this project? Oh man, I need this part. I got to figure that out. Like, oh, I need to finish editing this video. Oh, I need to hit this guy up about getting these parts back from whatever. It's always something going on. So, there is definitely a double-edged side to it.
I definitely agree with you. And one of the things that I feel that the most is, for example, if my girl, she was off on the 4th of July. She's like, hey, we're going to do something on the 4th of July. And it's like, that's in the middle of my, like, I have plans for this week. I have plans for the weekend. Even though I'm taking it off on the weekends, but I still have a schedule going on in my head, just like what you're saying, of everything that needs to be done, what's going on at the shop, my next upload, every single thing that you can think of is going on. You know?
You can't, you can just take the day off if you want to, but you can't just take the day off because, and it's even harder, when you get the day off at work, you're like, okay, cool, whatever, because it doesn't really affect you what's going on with the company. But you take a day off your own stuff, and it's like, it really puts you behind.
Exactly. You are clocked out. Yeah, you're exactly right. We do not clock out.
No, never.
Even before we're sleeping, we're thinking about what's going on. While we're sleeping, we're dreaming about what has to be done next. We cannot clock out.
I can't ever, you can't ever take a day. Like, I can never have a day where I'm just sitting around watching TV. If I'm sitting there watching TV, I'm like, I really need to be doing something. I have so many things to do. And even if I do end up spending half that Saturday or whatever watching TV with like my girlfriend or something, that's super rare, but let's say it happens, right? Even then, the whole time I feel guilty about it because I'm like, I really should be doing other stuff. Like, I shouldn't be sitting here watching TV. So that part of it is tough, for sure.
Without a doubt. Definitely a double-edged, sharp sword.
Not complaining at all, though, because I love what I do, but it is, there is more to it. People always talk about being self-employed, and it is great, but it also has its challenges.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I definitely feel that. Now, you just mentioned your girlfriend. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's get into your personal life. I know a lot of YouTubers go a lot into their personal life. They have the cameras around their kids. They're vlogging with this. They got their girlfriend, their wife, whatever, going on vacation, doing all this stuff. And then I know there's some other YouTubers that they're just a YouTube. Ooh, man, we are in the middle of the shop. That's the air compressor. It has a little purge valve to get some of the water.
I didn't hear. Well, I guess I have headphones on. Yeah, I didn't hear it in here. I just heard it in here.
And dude, there's a gigantic spike all the time.
A spider?
No, a spike. Like,
I thought you said spider.
Yeah, but anyways, so there's a lot of YouTubers and there's a lot of people that bring the vlog into their personal life, and then there's some that what you see on the camera is just part of their life. They don't bring the camera into their personal life. How do you feel about some of that stuff?
When I start, it's kind of funny. I kind of went full circle on this. So when I started, I didn't know about vloggers. I had never seen a vlog. I didn't know anything about it, And then as I started getting into it, I learned about vlogs. And then, so originally I thought, okay, I'll make a YouTube channel working on cars, teaching people how to drift, whatever. That's what I thought was on YouTube. And then I was like, it's people do vlogs. So then I started kind of trying to do that. But then I realized, at least for me, there's definitely people who would watch it, but like really vlogs aren't that interesting unless you have a very interesting life where you're doing something that other people can't do. Like Casey Neistat has a vlog where he lives in New York and he does all this interesting stuff and he, whatever. He knows all these cool people and gets these cool opportunities and travels and stuff. And that's something that, because I feel like vlogs' main purpose is people want to live vicariously through you.
Of course,
they might not have as much that they can do in their city and they want to watch you. But if I'm living in a rural area and all I'm doing is working on my cars and maybe go to Walmart. You know, there's
Yeah.
not really any point in me filming that because it's not anything more interesting than anybody else could do. So I kind of tried to switch back to focusing on the cars because I know a lot of people want to see the car stuff and they're like kind of tired of seeing the vlog stuff. That's not really what they're there for.
Yeah.
And to me, it's easier, you know, to just kind of focus all my energy and effort on filming whatever I'm doing with the cars. And sometimes like filming this, you know, I even honestly wasn't even sure. I'm like, okay, do I film going down there and picking up the parts, or do I just pick up the parts and then start filming when I get home? You know, and that's another one of those, like, you're always like thinking, like, just driving down here to get parts, I'm thinking about how I'm going to film it and how I'm going to make it interesting and if it's worth filming, if it's not worth filming, and all that stuff. So I don't know, I kind of tried to, but my girlfriend isn't super into the idea of being in the videos, which is fine for me.
Right.
So I just kind of, it's not that I really try to leave out my personal life. I just have a pretty boring life. Like, I wake up, I work on my cars, I go drifting, and that's pretty much my life.
No, I can relate to that 100%. Like, if I'm talking to any of my old buddies from high school, we're catching up. They're like, oh, so what do you do? And I just kind of tell them what I do. I'm at the shop. I'm doing this. I'm making videos. They're like, oh, well, what do you do for fun? It's like, this is all I do. This is all I do.
This is my life.
Yeah, I'm at the shop. I'm going home. I have a 17-month-old daughter, and we're with her, giving her a bath, getting her going, and then getting her to bed, and then I'm editing a video, uploading next day at the shop.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to put on this whole persona of like, all I do is grind, because that's bullshit.
No,
but
nobody does.
Exactly.
Not nobody, but most people don't.
Yeah, exactly. But in reality, just like what you're saying, my life's not that interesting. What you guys see on the camera is the highlights of what I have going on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's about it. Now, I know you have a close friend, and I don't want to say any names or anything, but there's a lot of stuff online about a relationship and the relationship no longer being what it was before. And I know that stuff, he came public and they made a video of the two of them. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Well, let me give you a hint. I'm not going to say anything that's going to make me look bad or anything. I just want your personal opinion on it. His name is my same name as well, Adam LZ.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole bunch of stuff online about the marriage, and I believe that they're still married, and I don't want to get into that. I don't want to make any speculations.
Right.
But do you think the fact of how personal the vlog was in their life had anything to do with their relationships downfall, so to speak?
Well, I mean, that I don't know. You know, I don't know. It's tough. I definitely just think that makes, like, that in any situation, anything where, like, let's say, for example, you're dating somebody and you don't live together.
Yeah.
If things start going wrong, like, it's a lot easier to be like, you know what, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have so much invested. You know, you're not living together. It's not both of you going and finding a new place. It's just you go your separate ways.
Right.
So then you live together, and then it's even harder because, you know, one of you's got to move out. One of you, you know, and it just makes so people kind of. People feel trapped, and then you get married, and then people feel more trapped, and then on top of all of that, you know, if your life's on the social stage, then like your relationship ending would be even worse because then there's all these people watching you and watching it end and wanting to know what happened, which is going to make it even harder. So I think just like that would probably affect it in that way.
Of course. And what a lot of people don't understand is nobody is that picture perfect anything ever. Ever. There's never a case of like a picture perfect family. So to bring in the vlog or the camera to your life, and if something happens that's a normal thing, it's normal for relationships to not last, just as normal as it is for them to last. So if something ever happens, like you're saying, it's in the limelight. And anyway, let's switch gears. I don't want to talk about anybody else. You're the guest. I want to talk about you.
I mean, I really don't like know any more than anybody else does.
And I don't want you to think for 1 second that since you're good friends with him that I'm trying to get you to spill the dirt. That's not at all what I'm trying to do.
And I really don't know anything any more than anybody else does. But I mean, I could definitely see that, like, I could imagine, because I thought about that with my own personal relationships. You know, if I met a girl and she wanted to be in the videos, like how I wouldn't put her in for a while, because if I start putting her in and then people get accustomed to her and then I want to break up with her, but people want her there, so then it just gets super complicated. So I'm sure that would be really difficult to deal with because you've got this whole backlash of your friends and like everything that you've got to deal with that comes along with any of it, and then you've got a million people online that are like, what's going on, and you're just trying to deal with it, and then they want to know what's going on. And I think that's what people don't understand when they say like, oh well, their life was in the public eye, like they owe us an explanation. I've seen stuff like that. I mean, I don't really follow up with any of this stuff, but but it's like yes and no, you know. Yes, like sure, but at the same time, like people break up and don't even talk to their friends about it. So how do you expect someone going through relationship trouble to want to share with the whole world what's going on? Like, give them some space, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you mentioned your girlfriend and stuff like that. How long have you guys been together?
Let's see. I mean, we started dating in June 2 years ago, so just over 2 years.
Yeah. Future plans, man. You guys plan on getting married? Plan on having kids?
Neither of us want to get married.
Yeah.
We don't want to. We just don't want to be married. Period. Because we think it's kind of the same concept. Like, you just feel trapped if you get married.
Right. Well, I feel like, I don't know how you feel about this. Like, I'm not against marriage, and I'm not for marriage. I want to talk to somebody who can give me a good explanation on all the benefits of being married, because in my opinion, the only thing that I've seen thus far is it's a contract between you, the government, and your girl.
Yeah.
Why can't I just be with her and have the government not involved?
Right.
And
exactly.
If we decide that we want to go our separate ways, it doesn't have to get nasty. We don't got to get lawyers involved. She doesn't have to, like, the way that lawyers work is your lawyer is going to ask for everything.
Yep.
Their lawyer is going to ask for everything. And in both parties, nobody even is asking for everything. So it makes you guys both look worse, and then somebody has to get screwed over, and it's just ridiculous. It's a contract between you, your girl, and the government, and I'm not interested in that.
No, me either. We 100% same thing. Because, I think for me, at least, the relationship would end up lasting longer, being better, because it wouldn't be like, oh, man, if I want to end this, I have to get a divorce. It's the same thing. You feel trapped. Like, you end up just feeling like you don't have a choice, and then you resent that person because you feel like you don't have a choice, which maybe if you had a choice and knew you had a choice, you would never have felt that way in the first place.
It's just another element. See, me and my girl have been together since 2012, and we have a 17-month-old. And we've talked about marriage, and I would get her a ring. I mean, she can have a ring. I'll have my ring. She can call me her husband. I consider her my wife. Like, I plan on being with her for the rest of my life. We have a daughter together. I don't plan on anything else happening. But as far as marriage, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see the point.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, as far as like benefits and stuff like that, whereas the way that she was able to claim my daughter as a single mother, that's when, if the government's listening, that's when we weren't together, and now that we are now. But anyways, you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's different ways to milk the system, and everything's a system. Everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's move on. Let's get into car talk. People really know you for cars. Let's leave the personal life behind us. I think that we got enough of that personal stuff out there. So what are your plans for your future builds, current and or upcoming builds?
Oh, man, it's ever changing. That's probably my biggest problem is I just have, it's funny. I'll be talking to my roommate, Ben, and we'll see a car, or a car will pop up for sale, and I'm like, oh, I've always wanted one of those. And I'm like, I do say that a lot. But, like I said, I got into cars when I was like 6, and I remember I used to go on eBay every day and look at specifically like the kit car section, because a bunch of weird cars would pop up in there. And I'd watch Barrett Jackson, and I'd, read forums, and like, I would see all these different cars, and I'd get obsessed with a particular car and start figuring out, which I never really learned much because I was too young to understand all this stuff, but figure out like what it took to make it faster. And when I'd see a YouTube video of a Volvo drifting, and I'd be like, oh, I want to build one of those. So I'd start like trying to find out how to do it. And so anyway, there's just been a lot of builds ever since I was a kid that I wanted to do. So there's just so many.
There's a build the other day that one of my buddies was telling me about, and I feel like I know about, like, you're not going to throw anything by me. I feel like I know a lot of the cars. I know what comes with an LS. I know what's this. I know what's that. And he threw a car at me, and I looked on the Facebook Marketplace. They're like $5,000 to $7,000, and it absolutely blew my mind. And I'm curious to see if you have ever heard of it.
Caprice PPV?
Nope, it's not that. Do you know of Saab? It's a Saab SUV. It's called the 97X Aero, and it comes with an LS2, and it's all-wheel drive. It's built on the Trailblazer SS chassis.
Oh, okay.
So and it has a GM steering wheel. It's a GM. It's a Trailblazer SS badged as a Saab for $7,000 less. Yeah, dude.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. I saw
those are so cool. Like, stuff like that. To me is always so fun.
Exactly, and I saw like 3 or 4 of them on Facebook Marketplace, like $5,000 to $7,000 mint. That's because crazy. A Saab, who's gonna beat it up? It just came from your grandma, and I was really strongly debating on buying one, pulling the trigger, dude. That's the ultimate dadmobile.
Yeah, and now you got me one. See, this is my problem. This is my problem. Yep. I'm already gonna go home and go on Facebook Marketplace.
Dude, after this is over, I'm gonna show you some pictures. Dude, it's a good looking SUV too. It's built on the Trailblazer SS chassis.
Because I've thought about getting one of those. The only problem is the 4L60E. You had to swap a 4L80 in there. You blow up the trans. vans.
Every single one of them is all-wheel drive.
Okay.
So it's literally a Trailblazer SS all-wheel drive.
Right, but for way cheaper. That's like the Caprice PPV. They were like cop cars, but there's like executive versions where they're like less of a cop car, but it's the same thing as like a Chevy SS or like a G8 GT. So it's got a LS, I think is it 6-liter or 6.2? It's either an LS2 or LS3, and then it's 6-speed auto and whatever. But you can find them. They're basically like an LS sports sedan. You can find them for like $5,000 to $8,000.
Yep, and
all
that's
day
the
with low
coolest
mileage.
thing. Yeah. I'm so fascinated by cars that are like the ones that kind of just flew under the radar.
Yeah.
And my mind was blown when somebody was telling me about this. For you guys listening, it's called the Saab 97X Aero. And dude, it is.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll show you after this is over. It's a good looking SUV. So let's move on a little bit. I know from watching your videos, huge fan of your videos, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, that you have this fascination for semi trucks. Where did this big rig semi trucks? Where did that come from?
So a friend of mine, or good friend of mine, when I was way younger, maybe 10, 11, 12, something like that. His kid Nathan. Anyway, his dad was a semi-truck driver, and, I met him, and I knew him, and he wanted to be a semi-truck driver, and then I started playing semi-truck games and whatever, like semi-truck simulators and stuff, and then I guess really ever since then, I've always thought, like, trailering stuff was really cool. Like, I've always thought towing was really cool. It's just a very, like, manly feeling thing.
It's like big boy toys in real life.
Yeah, like you got a big trailer behind you. Like, it just feels very... I don't know. It sounds so silly, but it just feels cool. I just like towing. I don't know why I like it. I can't explain why I like it.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you.
I just like it.
Yeah, like if I'm on the highway and I see some of those trucks like following the wide load trucks, it's fascinating. You see row and row of axles pulling some gigantic piece of equipment. No, dude, it's fascinating. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I even think it's because I've only drove trailers just a handful of time, like boats and stuff like that. But dude, I like backing in a trailer.
Yeah,
it's cool.
You feel it's very rewarding.
Exactly.
I guess that's what I'm looking for. It's very rewarding feeling when you learn it and you know it and you can change lanes. I was thinking about this on the way over here because there was the traffic and one lane was shut down and I saw that like the lane was ending, so I slowed down and kind of like blocked the people behind me so the semi could get over, and he was like super grateful. Yeah. And just a lot of people don't realize what it's like to drive with a trailer. Like, they don't realize how difficult it is. Yep. I was coming back from Texas and one of the lanes ended and I was trying to get over. There was a little bit of a gap, so I started trying to get over. Dude spades up again. Then I find another gap and I just start going for it. I'm like, I gotta just go for it. Like, the lane is ending right now. I mean, we're moving at like 5 miles an hour. Dude just drives up halfway off the road so I can't get over. And this happened after like 15 people, and finally I was able to get in front of someone. But it's like, people don't realize that you can't see around the trailer. You can't tell I mean, you learn to know where it is, but you can't tell exactly where it is. There's just so much more to it. If you're going, like, what'll happen is you'll get caught up behind somebody and you'll hit an uphill and you're going slower than you really should be. Like, you're going 65 and the truck's not in the power band. So then you're chugging up the hill. So then someone comes around you and gets in front of you, and then you get over the hill and you're trying to pick up your speed and they're going 65, and people just hit the mic. People just don't realize how much harder it is to drive with a trailer. And I forget, because I mean, almost all the highway driving I do now is with a big trailer. So like driving this here today is what made me think of it, because I'm like, man, I can just change lanes and I can just accelerate up to 90, no problem. Like, you forget how much easier it is in a car, and people are so obsessed with themselves, and I don't want to let this semi over who's about to get slowed down 20 miles an hour because it'll slow me down, but like, you can just accelerate. He can't.
Yeah. And now I know riding with people like in my teenage years in high school and stuff like that, a lot of people, just from what I've seen, are really scared and intimidated. Like, they don't want to pass the semi-truck. They think semi-truck drivers are like going to switch lanes, or just, they don't trust a semi-truck driver. But what I always explain, dude, semi-truck drivers are probably the best drivers that you're going to drive next to.
Yeah, they're on the road all the time.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. That's what they do for a living. And shout out to all the semi-truck drivers.
Yeah,
dude. That's
no,
all
absolutely.
So that is really
they
badass.
keep like America going. But semi-trucks, I guess it's just one of those things. It's a bigger version of a truck. I like trucks.
Yeah.
That's one thing that differs from me and a lot of my friends, is a lot of my friends see like a tow rig as just a tool. They just want a tool to get their trailer there. So they don't care about having a cool one or whatever. Whereas for me, like, I just like trucks.
Yep.
Not as much, I mean, maybe as much as I like cars. So like, I want to have a really cool tow rig. Like, I have a build plan that I can't share because it might not happen. It's hopefully going to happen, but basically I have a tow rig build plan coming up.
And how do you feel about the autonomous trucks? I know a week or so ago, the first successful autonomous semi-truck test drive happened in Orlando. So if you were driving on, I don't know exactly the road, but if you were driving between the hours of 12 and 2 and you got passed by a semi-truck, there's a chance that that semi-truck was not being manned by a driver. It was completely autonomous. Crazy. It's insane, and it kind of makes me worried about the semi-truck industry. All these people are going to lose their jobs, but when every new thing comes up, some other jobs are going to come up as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of debate on that topic, because you still need people to automate the automation. You still need all these other things, and everyone thinks it's same like you said. Other jobs pop up.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll ever be replaced entirely.
Yeah.
But it does force people to kind of switch things up. You lose a lot of the low level, like easy stuff, like fleet stuff and whatever, and people who want to stay in it are going to have to probably start, coming up with or doing things out, different and being unique in a way, like bringing extra value that the autonomous can't deliver or whatever, which is kind of how it is with anything.
Yeah.
If something can replace you, you got to figure out how to do something that can't be replaced.
Yeah. Man, it is crazy. I want to address the elephant in the room. We got this dude mowing the lawn.
Yeah, I don't know why he's like been in the same spot, I feel like.
It's crazy. But anyways, hopefully it's not ruining the thing. But either way, going back to autonomy, I am really excited to see how the future's going to turn out. Like, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not intimidated by it. It's just going to be cool. All that stuff is super cool. So now, if you weren't into cars, what do you think that you would be doing day in and day out?
It's hard because I would say semi-truck driver. But the industry is just getting like really bad from what I understand with the e-logs and stuff. Like before they just wrote paper logs. Now they have like this device that like basically if they're 20 minutes from home and they're about to hit their 14 hours, they have to pull over and rest for like 11 hours. Imagine like being 20 minutes from home and having like your truck shuts off and you have to stop. It just seems a little ridiculous.
It is.
There's a lot of debate on that. But anyway, there's that. And then, I really don't know. Like, I like learning how things work and like working with things and like making things. So that's just it all revolved around cars, like mechanical engineer, but that kind of revolves around cars too.
Yeah. And all that stuff you need a degree for in school and math, and that's why.
I went to school to get my mechanical engineering degree, and then it was just kind of a bad circumstance. My stepmom wanted me to move out, so my dad like kind of basically kicked me out. And I was in college. I had gone down to part-time at my job. I had a good job. I was like commercial manager at Advanced, and I stepped down from that to go part-time to go to college. And then like 2 semesters in, I had to go back to find a full-time job. Didn't have time for college, and then never got it done. But that was my original plan. I mean, hey, it worked out. That's everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, that's really cool. And here you are, man. You're sitting in a hot shop, hanging out with me, talking on a podcast, and you're making YouTube videos, and you seem to be doing really well for yourself.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, man. So this was a really good time. I think that's all the time that we have for today. Taylor, thank you so much for coming out, brother. I really appreciate it. Like I said, one of the first guests. This has been episode number 4. I want to wish you the best of luck on all your YouTube stuff, all the drifting stuff, anything that you have going on. I want to wish you the best of luck. And did you have anything else for anybody before you leave?
I don't know.
Well, where can they find you at? Where can they find you?
Taylor Ray on the YouTubes, Taylor Drifts on Instagram, and you make me want to make a podcast now. I feel like we didn't even get to talk long enough.
Dude, we're already like 30 minutes into it. Dude.
Yeah, no, it flies by. Yeah, if we were in air conditioning now, we'd be talking for another hour.
Dude, we could do multiple episodes.
Yeah,
and
we'll
dude,
have to do it again.
If you want to get into it, dude, I'll help you get set up. Anything
it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you guys look for that podcast coming real soon. Taylor Ray starting. Yeah, we're already getting going, dude. Order the stuff right now. You just missed Prime Days. Dang it, you're right. Yeah, man, you probably could have found some good deals. So if you guys are new here, if you're not familiar with this face, if you don't know who I am, I do a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. I mainly specialize in paint and body work. I just finished painting the Hellcat Swamp Miata, and that was over at Hoonigan. I also painted Taylor's car. So the car that you see shredding in Texas, shredding anywhere, it's shredding with paint that I applied to it.
And it still doesn't look horrible. It's still, it has been very badly hit multiple times, and it still looks fine.
I love the way that you describe it. It still doesn't look horrible.
No, because it would.
Dude, I was expecting that car was going to be thrashed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, it is.
We knew that going into it.
But it still looks like the rear bumper. Every time I back out of my trailer, it folds completely under the car, and the paint has not cracked. The front bumper, same thing. It folds under the car because it hits the ramp. Has not cracked.
Wow.
The rear bumper got slammed into, and there's just a scuff mark. Like, it's taken a lot of hits to still look fine from 10 feet, you know?
And
it's
when
pretty crazy.
Takes more hits, you know where I'm at. You know you're welcome anytime. You know I'm willing to help you out.
Now we got spare parts.
Yeah, exactly. Those doors, I still got to get them done. But you got your new parts.
The fenders are good. That's what we need.
Cool. So I guess that's going to be it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This podcast is going to be, you're listening to this on a Sunday morning. The next one is going to be next Sunday morning. So thank you guys so much for listening. I guess that's it. I'm out. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, cool. I'm out. See you.
See ya.